It's been decades since miners last pulled uranium from the Midnite Mine in Stevens County, Washington, but the environmental impacts are still felt to this day. The mine is located along the Spokane River on the Spokane Reservation. Don Brown with our Environment Northwest team investigates the lasting impact of the mine on the Spokane tribe and on the land they call home.
Since time immemorial, the Spokane tribe has called this region home. But just 70 years ago, a major discovery left the face of this landscape changed forever.
The mine was here before I was born. We grew up with it. You just didn't really pay attention. It was here. It was just part of the landscape, essentially.
In 1954, twin brothers Jim and John LeBret struck atomic age gold, uranium. The brothers then went forward and started Midnite Mine. Over the next 10 years, the mine would go on to produce 5.3 million pounds of proto-ore and leave a slew of environmental issues for the Spokane people in its wake.
It's hard to fathom, to think a mineral is worth someone's life. But when you're in an industry that destroys our mother, nature, that's the cost.
The mine consisted of 4 open pits. But by 1979, Dawn Mining Company faced issues with water runoff and accumulation of a radioactive slurry in these pits. A pond was constructed to hold this toxic water, but it wasn't enough.
The Spokane tribe, like other tribes in the United States, understand water is life. Not just a saying, but true, to understand that and to feel it spiritually as a culture in your tradition and your understanding of what all of this is about, that's the bottom line.
In a 2010 assessment, the Federal Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry classified activities using waters from the nearby Blue Creek drainage as a public health hazard.
So that's why the Spokane Tribe of Indians challenged ourselves, because we have to meet it, to have the highest water quality standards in the nation.
But Blue Creek has been a popular swimming, fishing, and recreational spot for many in the Spokane tribe, including Ricky Sherwood.
Just on the other side of this hill over there, there's the Blue Creek campground. We grew up swimming and it was kind of our spot. Every summer, this was just kind of where we would go.
Now, all along Blue Creek, signs warn visitors of the invisible danger.
To be safe, we posted those signs.
Linda Meyer is the remedial project manager for the Midnite Mine Superfund site and has overseen this cleanup effort throughout its progress.
Once we do the cleanup and investigate the sediments and feel comfortable we've removed, that the sediments meet the cleanup standard, we should be able to take those signs down.
But cleanup efforts over the years have already made a huge impact on the area.
Pit 3, here's what it looked like early this season. Later, mid-season, we've dewatered that pit and removed the contaminated sediments from the bottom and are now placing a geomembrane and then starting to install the well that water will be collected and pumped out of this.
Warren Saylor has been speaking on this issue since 1990. But before he was working on the cleanup effort,
I was a prober. I was deep in the pit, the bottom of the pit. That stuff was so black. I'd stick the probe on those rocks and that meter would just sink out of sight.
Almost all of the original miners were members of the Spokane tribe, and the Midnite Mine provided one of the only industry jobs on the reservation.
The thing about the mine, people kind of fail to understand when they say, why would you go there? You have to feed your family. I got kids. Only job on the reservation, only job for 50 miles, 60 miles around, because nobody was going to hire an Indian in those days to work at that mine to feed my family. I'd went.
That decision was one that many on the reservation faced.
My dad did a lot of work up at the mine. As a young guy, he was in his 20s. I was just a little guy. I think when it closed, I was like 8 years old. They made the decision back then that they had to make, but it was an everlasting, impact on the environment and the people.
43 years have passed since the mine shut down, and now the question remains.
Do you think people will be able to, take from the land again, like they used to without any worry that, oh, this could be harmful to me?
I think that's something that we're striving for. I think we'll know in time.
As for the cleanup's completion,
Well, I believe it'll be completed within 5 years, but I'm not in a rush. I want it done right. I don't care if it takes another 8 or 10 years, it has to be done right. We're hoping that at some day, it might be 50 or 100 years from now, there'll be no scarring. We'll have put Mother back the way they first found her before that first shovel went in the ground. Because you always learn from the past
Aidan Brown,
to make a better future.
KREM 2 News.
Earlier this year, the EPA conducted a 5-year review of the cleanup project. It estimates that major components of the cleanup will continue through 2026.